Alright, people, before we get started, unfortunately, we had some sad news this past week. Mr. Iwata had passed on. He was the president of Nintendo, and throughout a lot of our lives, he was in charge of, getting us all the cool games in life. So, moment of silence for a true man of gaming, and he will be missed. This is the one true I'm the Gamer Boss Braun.
Any information about True Backlash?
And the First Lady of Media Blue.
Bringing the noise, bringing the funk, it seems. And we're talking about Antman. So, story, Antman, go.
Alright, so, there's this guy named Hank Pym. He used to work for S.H.I.E.L.D. He was a superhero. Surprise, surprise, another superhero before Iron Man. How's that happening? Anyway, he decides, you know what? My special MacGuffin's too powerful for S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm taking it away, and I'm going to retire and be a lonely hermit.
Said every superhero ever.
So now, his protege Hank Pym's played by Michael Douglas. His protege, played by Corey Stoll, also known in the movie as Darren Cross, discovers, hey, I think I know your secret of your MacGuffin, but I can't prove it. And there's this legendary superhero that no one knows about. I think that's real too. So I'm gonna make this idea with now my MacGuffin and make it this suit I can sell to these people who need weapons. Pym doesn't like that at all, so he clandestinely recruits this ex-thief ex-burglar named Scott Lang, played by Paul Rudd. Basically, the guy's just getting out on a pokey, and he wants to clean up his act for his daughter. Things don't go so well, so he with his buddy Luis, played by Michael Pena, and two other new guys, one of them played by T.I., the rapper, go and rob this place. Turns out it's Pym's place, and it turns out it's the suit that Pym used as a superhero, and now it belongs to Scott Lang. And once the dust is settled, it's explained to him, and you saw this in the trailer, that Pym wants Lang to take back Pym's technology, his MacGuffin, anything that the future Yellow Jacket, Darren Cross, can use to hurt people.
All right. Now the goods. Who wants to start?
Well, I found there were quite a few goods in terms of acting. I thought was really great. I enjoyed, and I think you guys will too. Michael Douglas started to go way back on you guys. Michael Douglas. I thought there was some pretty neat CGI that kind of gave Michael Douglas a really youthful look at the beginning of the movie.
That's a pretty good CGI, or maybe it's old-fashioned makeup.
It could be. I was trying to figure the same thing out, Ron. Could have been makeup. They could have did a fabulous job and then photoshopped it, because I mean it really wasn't a long clip, so maybe they were able to do some really amazing things. But I think you'll find that was a real nice touch. I really kind of dug the costuming on Antman and the Nemesis. I thought was really cool costuming, and I really liked the whole idea of the ants, the whole ants coming into being right along with Ant-Man. So that was pretty cool.
So you like the ants of Ant-Man?
I like the ants of Ant-Man. They kind of gave them some personality, even more so than what you might have originally thought. I think you'll they weren't like real specific down to Ted, Alice, Bob, George, but nonetheless they seem to have a nice little personality. So I like the acting, I like the CGI effects, and I also liked the role of the ant in Ant-Man.
Anything else?
Tons of everything else. I just don't want to spoil. I mean, some of the effects I thought were pretty neat in some of the scenes, but again, that might just take it a little too far. So
The ants were pretty good, amazingly, and I like to give them credit for trying to give us the scientific name for ants of the ants in the movie. But
that went in one ear and right out the other.
I know, right? It's like I am not an ant man. I don't care what the scientific name.
You don't care.
So one bites, one builds, one flies, and
one's crazy.
One's crazy. That's all I need to know. Thank you. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed the movie of the whole movie. I've enjoyed it. The characters, I definitely like the characters. It's not just Ant-Man, but it's just he's got his own sort of gang. So you'll Backlash said, there are some more characters who will definitely isn't a one-parter, and I'm glad for that. It was great. Hope?
Hope, yeah.
Hope was a good leading lady. She was a little skinny, but that's Hollywood for you.
Hope being played by Evangeline Lilly of Lost fame. Of course, me and Boss Bronze would know her from way, way, way back when she was a hardware girl for Judgment Day.
Huh, no kidding.
No kidding. Huh. In fact, she wasn't even the famous one of the two at the time.
She looked like she was more nourished back then than she is now.
Probably was.
But hey, you know what? That's just me.
Chasing that eternal youth.
That's true. But that doesn't mean thin yourself out. This is Ant-Man about shrinking, not thinning. But anyway, what else? T.I. was good, but he wasn't all in there.
He didn't have a huge role, but it was just nice.
He was part of the Ant-Man. I'll say Ant-Man gang, right?
Yeah, Ant-Man gang. It was just nice to see him included. I liked that.
That's true.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a We Are the World scenario over there.
Was.
So
I thought that was Guillermo for a minute.
But I'm definitely not going to spoil too much anymore. I definitely like the Ant-Man suit. I liked how color schemed and fully functional it seemed.
Fully functional.
Even though
different from all the suits that we see in some of the other Marvel comics per se.
I'll be honest with you. I do think the buttons were a little precious on the fists. I mean, Spider-Man's buttons was a bit more form function, but when I'm fighting evil, I don't want these giant knobs on the side of my thumb. What if I try to get something and I accidentally shrink myself? And then, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Then I drop the bomb and then boom. Can't shrink out of an explosion.
No, you sure can't. And just by the fact that they were being precious, I would think that anybody would figure it out. Oh, there's the source of his ability. Let's attack those. Keep him from touching them.
Hey guys, cut off his arms. That'll stop him. But hey, you know what? This is not the bad, so we'll stick with the good. Backlash.
Okay, so first and foremost, I gotta say that despite being an ingenious genius thief and being having a master's degree in technological stuff, I forget what he says, Scott Lang seemed to be probably the most normal person to become a superhero in the Marvel Universe.
You might be right about that,
because you got Hank Pym, who was a superhero by the time we knew him and worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. You got Agent Carter, who works for S.H.I.E.L.D. You got Cap, Hawkeye, and Black Widow works for S.H.I.E.L.D. You have Rhodey and Falcon in the Army. You have Big Tony Stark. You have also Big in Thor. You have Bruce Banner, who even before he was a Hulk, he was this scientist, well-known scientist of gamma radiation. This guy just looks like a normal guy.
He's pretty normal.
And I mean, it showed at the first part of the movie, more on that later, but, it makes you root for him a little more. He's a deadpan snarker. He has a kid he wants to take care of. He prioritizes what he should be doing and what he should not be doing. He tries, I don't want to ruin the gag, but he tries to hold on to what little he had after getting out of jail, and it blows up in his face, but it's respectable. He wants to do what's best for his daughter at all costs. And then I like the Ant-Man character. I like Scott Lang. I think it worked. I think all the characters were understandable. I thought Hope was a little bit too rough around the edges, but overall she was
like action girl mixed with Wolverine.
Yeah, she was understandable. Yeah. Everything I know about Hank Pym from Avengers United Day Stand. Don't watch the show; it actually kind of sucks. But I liked how they played Hank Pym in that show. To Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, I really got to say, Michael Douglas nailed Hank Pym, how I thought Hank Pym should act, and he did it very well. I love the cameo. I loved all the cameos. I won't say anything about cameos. Mm-hmm. You should know better on who should be in these movies that star a certain person who created a bunch of these characters already.
Let's just say we're all true believers here.
Yeah, but there's 3 or 4 more cameos from the start to the middle, to the end, to the very end. So, but I love all those cameos as always. It also set up for some more machinations later on, which I liked. What else? Darren Cross for a long time, and then there was a point in the movie where it's like, you evil punk! But before that, you didn't think he was really the villain. You felt that...
I knew that guy was the villain.
Yeah, he looked villainish.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly evil, but it is explained on why he's acting the way he does. And it's also felt like he wasn't trying to... He was trying to be nice. He was at something, and you could say that's him being evil. I understand that, but it's like he didn't want to be this way. He just wanted to do what was best. It reminded me of Tai Lung and Shifu and Kung Fu Panda. It's like he just wanted to make his daddy proud.
I was sympathetic, 5 minutes in the middle part when him and Hank Pym met up, but after that, it's like, nope, he's going full-on supervillain on me here. Or he didn't exercise the best common sense.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure which one.
Yeah.
But I didn't really relate on a Tai Lung level. I sort of did in Kung Fu Panda. But even Tai Lung, was a bit,
Yeah. And 2 more things I like because it changes Paul Rudd and his writing partner made in terms of comedy. I don't think that was in the movie at first, but I think it really helped.
Yes.
If a lot of that comedy was in the movie, it would be the driest thing until half of the movie was over, and then you would have people complaining, this is similar to Ang Lee's Hulk, and blah, blah, blah. And other than that, I liked the powers. I liked the suit. I liked how it worked. And it really showed. And I love the action sequences. The one in the middle caught me off guard. It's like, yo!
It caught everyone off guard.
Oh, yes, man. It was
cool.
But it gave, let's just put it this way. It gave 2 Marvel characters their due. That a scene where these 2 Marvel characters, you didn't expect them to interact like this. But... it worked out well for both of them. It made one bring up his character traits that he had shown through the movie, and it made the other not a pushover. It made him seem like the superhero he's supposed to be, and gave him a little more to do than his last appearance.
I completely agree with that. I thought, first of all, like you said, it was a total surprise.
12 minutes.
12. We're at 12 minutes already?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Time
Okay,
flies.
I'll make this really quick. But yeah, speaking again on the boss scene at the end, I was happy with that. And also Paul Rudd, you mentioned about the whole comedic thing. He actually was the younger brother, stepbrother, with the Alicia Silverstone movie Clueless.
Clueless, yeah.
So he kind of had his roots based in comedy. In fact, he looked up as Steve. What's the white-haired guy?
Steven Spielberg?
No, the other comedian, white-haired guy.
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin. Yeah, he looked up to Steve Martin as kind of like a role model in his early days. That's Paul Rudd.
Honestly, if Steve Martin dyed his hair brown and he was a lot younger, I think he would also been a good Scott Lang. He had that charm.
He did have that charm.
I agree with the comedy. It was definitely well placed. And the action scenes, when they were there, were also pretty darn good. Alright, let's move on to the bads. I'll go first, I guess. And honestly, I don't really have many bads, but just slight little nitpicks, and I hate to be that guy. I really do. But the ant CGI was a little obvious, I guess. I mean, I grew up with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
That's what it reminded me of.
Real fun fact. there was supposed to be an Antman movie, Hank Pym Antman movie eons ago. But while they were thinking about this movie, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was right there. So they said, you know what, we better shelve this for a while.
Yeah, they certainly did. And unfortunately, since I watched that movie, I kind of had, like, some expectations about scenery and stuff being, like, super large in a way with, dare I say it, practical effects. I'm not disappointed in what I saw, clearly. But, you know, when you're a little kid and you see that movie, I kind of think, like, everything's got to be like that way.
No, I mean...
But that's just me. But
some of the effects in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids admittedly didn't age well, but overall... They did dance right for their time. That's what they expected them to do, right? Continue. I'm sorry.
No problem. No problem. What else? The action scenes were few and far between. I liked the action scenes, like I said before, when they came out, but there was not a lot. They definitely had the comedy. They had some drama. They had to go into the backstory between Papa Pym and Pym, daughter Pym, and that was okay, I guess. Training montages, but actual action scenes were not as prevalent like in all the other Marvel movies, and I sort of missed it myself. But again, I wouldn't say that's a bad per se, but just a nitpick. Let's see, what else? I have a few more. You guys can go ahead while I try to think about it.
To be honest with you, it started out really dry. You know, there were a couple funny bits, but, you know, it's like, you want to see action, you know? For the last movie of Part 2 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you expect...
Phase 2?
Phase 2, excuse me. You expected a little bit more, but, you know, seeing the trailers, you kind of figured the movie was going to be kind of dry, you know? Which, I was hoping the trailers would be wrong about that. They were kind of right. And not that that's a bad thing. They needed to set all this up, because you... had to give, I mean, you got to make sure your big duh hero, the guy who made all this technology, and any other important character from the Ant-Man side of things gets proper treatment, because they're not easily to relate to as some of the other Marvel heroes. But that bogged the movie down, admittedly, and it didn't take a long while like the Hulk did in the Ang Lee movie to change, but it took a little bit of a long time for him to become
the Ant-Man.
Scott Lang to become the Ant-Man. And I noticed that. And, let's see, what else? Paxton. He is the Cannon Foreigner cop who is the Scott Lang's new baby daddy. Or, not baby daddy, but the husband, I think, at least. His partner, I mean, Paxton, slight spoiler, he's a cop. He had a partner. Paxton's partner was completely useless in the movie. He didn't.
No, he was just a token.
He had one-liners that were funny, but there was no need for him at all. And it's just like, what else?
You call him a MacGuffin.
And let me see. And I think there was
a MacGuffin.
And you know what? I hate to say this too. In the beginning, set up a couple things. One, set up that Hank Pym worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. Two, it set up that he was disgruntled by S.H.I.E.L.D. 3, it set up some more machinations again for later in the movie. But some of the cameos, they weren't needed. You know, they just like, it's like, okay, that's cool.
Everybody but Stan Lee, he was critical. His
Yeah.
cameo was uber important.
And see, I'm trying to think of stuff to complain about. I don't think there's much of it.
Well, you can come back to it if you want to. Blue could hit it until you think of anything else.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, I didn't have any real strong expectations for the movie, so I wasn't really disappointed because of that. So my nitpicks, you know, really, I mean, they met my expectations because they weren't really high. Mm-hmm. And in fact, it was probably a little more enjoyable than I anticipated. So with that being said, I agree with what Backlash states, that it was a long training period, but at the same time it helped me to see some of the credibility, because again, I was kind of strung along between the whole Fantastic Voyage and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, trying to figure how all this was going to work out, and then to be able to see him do certain things with the training helped me to visually say, well, okay, I can see how that can happen then. I mean, in the realm of Marvel now, not the reality, but in Marvel virtual world, yeah, I can see how that could happen because of the training sequences. But that's really all I have. I don't really have any strong nitpicks in that way.
Well, we're coming on to almost 20 minutes now. I'm gonna wrap this up. What do you guys give it?
You know what? It was probably by far of the Marvel Cinematic Universe the driest of all the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So,
even more than what is it? The Dark World?
You know, the Dark World, Malekith was a dry villain, and I blame that mostly on him. But what's her name? Nurse Girl, Jane Foster's Scooby Gang brought some levity to the movie. Plus, he had all those sci-fi effects and a bunch of other spoilers, which shouldn't be spoilers by now, made the movie quite enjoyable. Whereas this one, they tell you right out front that Darren Cross is not only Yellow Jacket, but he's the villain of the movie. Mm-hmm. And there's really there is surprises. There are surprises, but when it comes to just Hank Pym and Scott Lang and the universe they're set out without involving the other members of the MCU, there was no surprises. In fact, I kind of predicted, partially because of the trailer, how the movie would end.
It did kind of remind me of mini Iron Man.
Yeah.
Kind of how everything from start to finish sort of played out.
Yeah, and there was a good product placement, Thomas the Tank Engine, and you'll notice a couple things too if you watch Thomas the Tank Engine. You'll notice stuff, but I like the movie. I came into expecting it to be a little bit more drier, but I thought I would have a good time, and you know what? I did. And I hope they keep it up. I hope they keep making the characters for this universe interesting. I'm rooting for you, Pym. I'm rooting for your Hope. I'm rooting for you, Scott. I'm rooting for Cassie. Hope she becomes a superhero. Maybe not too soon, but sometime down the road.
Does she become a superhero?
Yeah, one of the young Avengers. Stature.
More pre-team. Baby cuddles again?
Well, actually, she was about a teen. But anyway, we're getting off track.
Yeah.
I can't, in good conscience, give it a platinum pass because it wasn't a big, stupid action movie that I'm accustomed to right now, and it was again dry. But you know what? I enjoyed it. I give it a pass.
I also enjoyed it, but I have to admit to you people, I am not the biggest Antman fan, and even though in this movie they showed me how his abilities and powers can be useful, Backlash is right. It did start off a little dry for me. It took me about the beginning of the second half of the movie while the good started to happen where I really got into it. And I really enjoyed it. Despite my nitpicks and some, flaws within the movie itself, like in the final scene where Cross finally gets into the Yellow Jacket suit. How did he get into the Yellow Jacket suit that fast?
Yeah,
it was like a little tiny.
I was trying to spoil that,
we
but
don't want to tell them. We want them to see.
Yeah, when you see it, you'll say, "Hey, how did that happen?" And so, thusly, like True Backlash, I gotta give it a pass as well.
I will give it a pass. It wasn't the kind of it wasn't Avengers. It certainly wasn't that movie, but I enjoyed myself nonetheless. I did enjoy meeting Antman again in this way. I certainly enjoyed the Michael Douglas role. So I think it's something that you would enjoy taking the kids to go see, and it may not be the one movie that you'll walk away with the year saying this is the all-time greatest movie ever, but I think you will thoroughly enjoy it. And folks, do not get up when the credits come on. There are a couple little spoilers there for you.
Learn by now, do not leave. Do not leave with the first credits. Don't even leave with the second credits. Just stay there until the usher said, "Hey, it's over." Go.
I think Boss Bronze was also telling us, too, that soon we're going to go ahead and start doing reviews after you've already seen the movie. I think he said...
Yeah, Aftermath. We've done that before.
Yeah.
Remember when we did the first Avengers? We did like a whole week full of Aftermathing.
Yes, but I think that's going to start up again because there's so much to tell you that we kind of have to dance around for these preliminaries, giving you a chance to go see for yourself.
No, we could definitely start them up soon. But for right now, this is one True Homie Gamer, Boss Bronze.
It's the information on True Backlash.
And the First Lady of Media, Blue.
telling you to watch Antman. It is definitely interesting, like movie. It's a little dry, but think of it as the start of a new hero.
Oh yeah, I know something about that hero. I know a guy. His name is Luis. He really was a good guy, but now he's a bad guy. He seems to be into art right now. Anyway, he was talking to me about his cousin, and his cousin was really working hard.
Stop playing the recording now.
You can't stop the recording. I'm talking. Oh. Anyway, he's a good guy, and I think there's the talks about heroes and Civil War.